Hey YouTube, this is MindTech. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be reviewing this Logitech Crayon, which is an Apple Pencil alternative stylus to be used with iPads and iPad Pros. Now, you've probably seen a lot of styluses in the past that just replicate a conductive finger, which can really be anything like one of those soft felt things on the back of pens that a lot of companies hand out as promotional material, and they really just suck. They don't really give a lot of precision, and Apple's answer to that was the Apple Pencil, which gave you a lot more freedom when you are trying to either select things really precisely or even trying to get a wider input when you're trying to draw. So you might be thinking, well, the Logitech Crayon, it looks like an Apple Pencil because it has a very similar tip, but it's just a regular stylus, isn't it, MindTech? And to that, I say no. The Logitech Crayon is the closest thing that I've seen to an Apple Pencil yet, and in some cases, I'd even argue that it's better. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the physical design of this stylus. The first thing that you'll probably notice is that it's more of a cylindrical shape instead of the round shape that the Apple Pencil takes. And I see this as both a pro and a con. I think that it gives a lot more grip than the actual Apple Pencil, and it's also somewhat more comfortable when you're holding it for long periods of time. You can kind of hold onto the edge instead of having to grip the cylindrical shape, which can get uncomfortable over time. One thing that you could do with the Apple Pencil though is get a regular silicone grip that you get with most other regular pencils, which this cannot do. This is more of like a construction pencil that you'd buy to put markings on wood. This makes it so that the pencil does not move on the table. When I put this down, it's going to stay put. Whereas with the Apple Pencil, this can roll right across the table. It's fallen on the floor a lot of times. It contributes to it getting scratched. I really like that this does have that stay and put design, and it also has some rubber on the bottom that also makes it so that it can stay in place. That can also be especially useful if you're using this in a classroom, which is actually its intended purpose, to be paired with the Logitech Smart Case. Its design allows it to slot right into the top of this case, and you can just hook this on back up, get that latch put in, and put it right back into your iPad cart if you're a classroom teacher. They used a plastic at the top, which I'm not necessarily a fan of. It might just be because of the color. I believe they picked this out because it stood out. That's something that the Apple Pencil does not allow you to do. It's only in white. And then on the bottom here, again, you have that rubber with a little slot out for the charging port. And then the rest of the pencil is this thin sheet of aluminum. And it also looks very premium with a really subtle Logitech logo there. It is not the highest quality metal in the world, and you can tell that it is pretty thin. Compared to the Apple Pencil, this is an all plastic design. Although it's really sturdy and it feels like it's going to be really durable, it can get really scratched easily, and it doesn't feel like the most premium thing in the world. So this honestly feels a lot more premium. Also, the weight, I'm not sure if it's the way that it's distributed, but this feels a lot lighter, and it feels like it would be a lot easier to hold and write notes for long periods of time. I've gotten fatigued writing notes after hours and hours. And one other thing that I'm a huge fan of about this Crayon compared to the regular first generation Apple Pencil is that it charges with a Lightning port instead of having to have you jam this into the side of an iPad. This is just a terrible design. I don't know why Apple came up with this, but being able to plug a Lightning port right into the back of this, just like it's a regular phone or a tablet, is honestly a great design. And plus, they have a little LED here to show you whether or not it's paired, and also whether or not it is charging, whereas with the Apple Pencil, you don't know if it's receiving any power or not. So moving on to the area that probably most of you clicked on this video for, why do I say that it is a comparable replacement for an Apple Pencil? Now, I haven't paired any of these. Pairing the Apple Pencil is admittedly a lot better. All you have to do is stick it into the side of the iPad and wait for it for a bit, and then it will ask you to pair with Bluetooth. And then once you do that, it should be paired right up. You can do the regular scribble, just as you'd expect it to work. Whereas with this Logitech Crayon, it is kind of confusing, and I honestly haven't gotten the hang of it yet. I believe you have to hold down on this power button for some amount of time, and it doesn't really have a dedicated interface, again, because it's not an actual Apple product. So I'm just going to press this button a couple more times. In my experience, I haven't actually had to go to the Bluetooth menu to pair it up. It usually does that automatically. The iPads have a thing where it only wants to use one stylus at a time, so now that I disabled the Apple Pencil, the crayon is paired with the iPad. Now the first thing that I want to show you is that it has all the Apple Pencil specific features that I've come to love. So first of all, I can use the same scribble interface that I used with the Apple Pencil. iOS 14 recognizes it as a regular pencil. It has that same exact Apple Pencil interface. I can even go into the Apple Pencil settings, and it also recognizes the writing here. I can even do some shortcuts, like taking a screenshot from the side like that and being able to mark up on your screenshots. The feel is also very similar. If you look at the physical design of the tips, they are very similar. This one I believe is a bit wider, and it isn't as long as the Apple Pencil tip, but it has a very similar material consistency, so you get a very similar tap and a very similar feel on the screen. This has kind of a different sound, and it feels a bit smaller, a bit more precise, but this crayon tip is honestly fine. So if I try to do some writing right now, you can get it to be very thin and precise, just like you can with the Apple Pencil. And if you move it down, you can get it to be a lot thicker. I haven't noticed any pressure sensitivity. If I have it down really lightly, the strokes look about the same if I press down. So I'm not sure if that's a feature that they implemented or if that's just not working. Now if I plug in the Apple Pencil, this seems a bit more precise, and I think the extra weight difference makes it a bit easier when you are drawing very finely. I can get a bit more thin strokes compared to the strokes that I was able to get with the crayon. And regarding the pressure also, if I press down, you can notice that difference in strokes, whereas I couldn't notice that with the crayon. This product is really geared not at drawing, but rather taking notes in a school environment. And also I've noticed when I am drawing with the crayon, if I move a bit too close to the screen, it kind of starts to cancel out and skip when I'm trying to make bigger, wider strokes. Whereas since this Apple Pencil is designed so that it's all flush, I can go basically all the way down, and it still recognizes. With the crayon, if I go to that same angle, it's not going to recognize because this piece of plastic actually protrudes a bit wider than the tip. If you look at the marketing for the Logitech Crayon, it is geared primarily at schools, and it's also geared primarily to be used with this case. And I really think that if you are a student and if you're looking for an Apple Pencil, this is honestly a really good alternative. The price for it is $70, so you are saving about $30 compared to the first generation Apple Pencil. And also, since you can get it in custom colors, you can make it so that it's easier to recognize this in a crowd of a bunch of different Apple Pencils if you're on like a college campus or something. I would like to mention a couple of quick things. The first thing is that the Logitech Crayon is completely compatible with newer iPads that work with the second generation Apple Pencil. I have a 2020 iPad Air right here, which only works with the second generation Apple Pencil, but I was able to very quickly actually go and pair this up with the iPad. Features like the scribble interface do still work with this 2020 iPad Air. Although compared to the first generation Apple Pencil, the second generation did fix a lot of the design flaws, such as the charging issues and rolling off of your table. It is definitely a steep increase in price, and the only feature that I really miss when I'm using the Logitech Crayon is the ability to double tap the side to switch between a different eraser or a crayon or something like that. Now, one other quick thing, this Logitech Crayon does not actually work over Bluetooth. Bluetooth is currently disabled on my iPad, and this still is able to pair and work perfectly fine. So that's nice to know that it's not going to clutter up your list of different Bluetooth devices. And all I had to do to pair this was press this one button on the side, and it pretty much instantly paired with my iPad. Plus, it does charge very quickly. I was able to put this on a charger after not using it for a couple of months, and within about 10 minutes or so, I was able to take it off and start using it with my iPad, which is another really good feature of the original Apple Pencils. Despite the complaints that I had with the drawing experience with this Logitech Crayon, I still 100% recommend it over even a first generation Apple Pencil. If you're an artist and everything, I can see why you'd want to spend the extra $30, but for most purposes, for $70, this is going to get you the full experience of an Apple Pencil, plus a lot of design changes that I honestly think are really positive. So thank you all so much for watching this product review. I hope it was informative, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye bye.